I don't know. I feel like giving up. Do you know what I mean? There's just everything's so bleak. There's like ain't no point in doing anything because there's the AI, right? The AI thing, and like why am I sitting here talking to you on this podcast like a human to a human, right? We don't need to do that. We could just have like the AI.
What, an infinite AI loop?
Well, it doesn't have to be infinite. You could have like an AI Efka, right? But you're still you.
Oh.
And you could just have a conversation, you know.
What with the AI? I mean, I'd probably get about as much sense out of it.
So I tried it out. I prepared this little bit, you know. I made this little recording with AI for this episode. So I'm just gonna loop it in and you see how you feel. Hi, and welcome to What's That? Cardboard and Mayonnaise with me, Efka.
Is that it?
It took 7 days to generate that, so I haven't got any more right now.
I see.
Like it generated it pretty quick, but it wasn't quite right because it kept thinking that we do mayonnaise content.
Well, no surprise.
And this was the least mayo
forward.
Yeah, out of all of them. And so I had to, like, there were others, but this is the one I had to use.
I have questions. Right, one, clearly, just for the record, you just said that. That was clearly not from an AI. That just was from your brain.
What? No, what do you mean?
And two, why mayonnaise? Like, are we going to start talking about mayonnaise now?
No, the AI thinks that we're...
No, clearly it's somewhere in your brain. You're thinking about what direction could we take this podcast in? Maybe we could talk about mayonnaise or other condiments, maybe, like tomato sauce.
Why did you say it like that?
What?
Condiments.
Are you mocking the way I speak?
Yeah, like, because you're common and stuff, right? And that's funny.
At least I don't pretend to make podcasts about mayonnaise.
I didn't make a podcast about mayonnaise. That was an AI generated soundbite of what it would sound like if AI instead of me hosted this podcast.
Do you know what's really upsetting? So we've not done this podcast for a little while.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to be like, hey, they're back. And then this nonsense. They deserve better, Efka. We should talk about board games.
My cup of tea squeaks when I put it in the tea holder. Like, it makes this squelch noise. I don't know if people can hear that. So if you could just stum, right? I don't know if people could... I could try and digitally boost that squelch sound.
I can tell this is going to be a top-tier episode. Welcome to Talk Cardboard, a podcast about board games and everything adjacent with me, Elaine, and you, Mr. Mayonnaise.
You didn't even let me say it.
I know.
Right?
What were you going to say?
I was going to say Mr. Squelch.
Oh no. On this...
Sorry.
What?
What's wrong with...
Absolutely nothing.
Mr.
Let's
Squelch?
move on.
Okay.
On this episode, we will be talking about 3 games.
Because, once again, we are changing the podcast.
We don't know.
What's going on?
It's clear, I think, to people that we are struggling with getting these episodes out, but we don't want to go away entirely, and we want to, we want to join in and talk about things and enjoy ourselves and hopefully make your day slightly better by listening to a nice podcast. So,
wow, what a diplomatic way to put it. I'm just gonna say that we want to talk about all the games we're not covering on video that we're playing, and it took some time to come to this, in hindsight, very obvious realization that that's why this podcast exists, and we tried going in many different directions, none of them working for us right now. You are. How's holding that cup of water going for you, Elaine?
It's great, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't put it down because I make a clack.
Okay,
There you go.
that's the clack. So yeah, we don't really feel like there is enough bandwidth in our heads right now to do videos in a timely manner and a podcast that they're both like separate different things. So we're just going back to how it was right in the beginning.
Ridiculous.
I know, what a long journey to get to, like,
Absolutely
we'll just cover
ridiculous.
we'll just talk about some of the board games we played on the podcast. Embarrassing. What's the first one?
Do you want to tell us about identity?
Yeah, because I keep wanting to say an anime cat girl, but they're not cat girls. They're just anime girls, right? They're anime teenage girls.
Did some of them have cat ears?
I think some of them
Yeah,
maybe
okay.
had cat. I don't know if they did. Anyway,
In my mind canon.
So this is a game about having your own identity, but all the identities in the game that are present are teenage anime girls.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't be anything else. You have to be that identity.
But they all have very distinct personalities.
Right. Okay. I see. So this is I am ragging on this theme, but actually, this is by Bamboo Games, and believe it or not, Elaine, it's a trick-taking game. It is very much a trick-taking game. It's another trick-taking game. How many more of those are we gonna have? Many, hopefully, because I like them. I quite like this one. This one was pretty good. I liked it.
I've got at least 2 that I want to get at Essen Spiel, so add to that however many you're going to get there. So
probably some. Yeah. I don't know. My Essen list is not complete yet, but...
Yeah, I know. It's really irritating. I've done the spreadsheet, Efka. You just need to put your games on the spreadsheet.
Down. Anyway, let's talk about identity. So this is a trick-taking game, right? But
It is.
you know how trick-taking games are, this is a must-follow trick-taking game, meaning, you must follow the lead suit,
yeah.
right? This is a...
Must not follow.
Cannot follow along. Have to do different, right? And that's the whole premise, right? So every suit is a person, right? And every value in that suit is a different outfit, right? So you have suits are different people and values are different outfits. And the values on the cards go from -3 to +3. And the fun part of this game is that basically you always have to play a different suit that doesn't exist and a different value that
Yes.
doesn't exist.
There is a +4 also.
There's a +4? Oh, is that with like more players? Because we played it only with 3 players. No, there's just a +4. Okay, so it goes from -3 to +4. I just made a mistake. And so this creates kind of like a weird situation where the more the trick goes on, the less options you have to play. And not playing things is just like really bad. Because...
Well, you have to play a card.
Yeah.
You can't just say, no, pass. You have to play a card. But if you can't legally play a card, so you can't place a different colour and a different suit, you have to play the card face down, and that's minusing out points at the end of the
It's minusing
game.
a trick, isn't it?
Minusing a trick.
Yeah. And so here's this like weird situation where like when you get your hand, it's not like a particularly rich hand, right? But you must already, before you play any tricks, you must play 2 cards from that hand. Everyone plays them simultaneously face down, reveals them. And that's kind of like the combination of these 2 values is how many tricks you're bidding to win.
Yeah.
So it's another trick-taking game where you're bidding how many tricks you're going to win.
Which we've seen before, but I
times.
quite like the way that this one plays out.
Yeah, because it costs you elements of your hand,
Yes.
right? So if you want to bid high on how many tricks you're going to win, you're spending your best cards that you then have to win those tricks with, right? But you don't have them anymore.
You're looking at in your hand as well, what spread you have. Because if you've got like 2 -2s, that's okay. You can probably use one of those in your bid. But if you've only got one, that's not great. Or if you've got like loads of green, you could use green.
It's a tricky conundrum, and that kind of encapsulates the joy of this game, because it's very much focused on, I want to do things with my hand, but there's constant tension there, because it's like, I want to play this guy, oh, but no, I can't play it anymore because someone already played it free, and what do I do now? And there's all these ways you can kind of gauge what a person has in their hand by what they can, like, what tricks they can no longer play into. And so you can kind of trap them. You can create this sort of entrapment situation where you deduce what numbers and or values they have in their hand, and then create this trap where they start losing trick points, and that's really bad, and it feels so bad. But also, at the same time, if you are leading a trick, then you play a 4, and you're good, because no one can ever win that trick anymore, because it's always highest value wins. So,
but the person who played the lowest card, so didn't play an illegal card, but the lowest card gets to do the next trick.
Yeah,
it's not the winner of the trick. So I thought that was pretty smart, like, because you're thinking, okay, if I play this really low card, that's probably fine. But then someone plays an even lower card, and you're like, oh, I really wanted to lead the next trick.
This trick is nothing.
Trick is nothing. Yeah.
It's fun. It's a nice little game. I don't know how easy it is to get. I know that they're going to have copies at Essenspiel, and this is the Correspondence booth, I believe. The publisher that's going to be bringing them is Correspondence. So if you're at Essenspiel, you can pick this up. I thought it was pretty good and pretty sweet. And despite me making fun of the sort of setting of this game, I think the art in it is quite sweet as well.
I can't figure out if it's like a satire.
Right. Or whether they take it earnestly. Yeah.
Is it actually saying like... Because I mean, in the game, you have to play differently. So that makes sense, right? So it is saying you have to be an individual, right? But like you said, they all look quite similar.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I was a teenager and I was going around in like my hoodie going, yeah, I'm an individual. Like everyone's wearing a hoodie and a band shirt, you know, like you look the same as everyone else. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's not what you think it is.
Yeah, it is very funny, isn't it? So, it works on many levels for me. It's a fun trick-taking game because there's not much to it, you know? Despite its sort of unconventional, must not follow nature, it is one of those trick-taking games that's very pure in that there is like no external mechanism or conceit or anything like that. It's must not follow trick-taking game with some bidding in it.
It's a very straightforward. There's no farting around with it. It's very straightforward trick taking. And the only wrinkle is the person who plays the lowest card will play the next trick, will lead the next trick. So, which I think, you know, it's not a massive change, but it's enough for it to just be a little bit different.
It's good. I liked it. I'm not going to say it's my favorite trick-taking game in the world, but
you can even say trick. You were so excited to say that you couldn't even say trick-taking game.
You're making fun of me now because I really feel very self-conscious about my inability to say the words trick-taking.
I didn't listen to any of that because, plus you've already made fun of how I said something, so whatever. But there could be a game called Chick Takers, which would be a trick-taking game about chickens, where you're a fox and you're stealing the chickens.
Oh, right.
Right? No? Okay, let's move on. We also played a lovely little game, spoiler, called Out of Sorts.
This is a game about creating a Dewey Decimal System in an alien library. What? What a far out concept. Whoa, you know?
I mean, the Dewey Decimal System is hard enough to grok anyway without...
Okay, so as someone who has... I'm not allowed to call you a librarian, even though... I was
never a librarian.
Yeah, but even though you performed all the librarian tasks, you know, in a library.
I wasn't a member of CILIP, which is the...
Sure.
Anyway, continue.
Whatever. You worked in a library and you gave people books. What else is there to it?
Okay. I don't think you want to go here right now.
Am I picking a fight with the noble profession of librarians?
A little bit,
okay.
a little
All
bit.
right.
They are keepers of knowledge and good things.
Wow, you didn't even know what they keep. I guess you're not a librarian after all.
I told you.
Elaine, can you tell us, in your professional expert opinion, as not a librarian, but librarian adjacent, do you think this game evokes the magic of the Dewey Decimal System?
That's a very deep question.
No, it's a yes or no question.
No, it's not, is it? Okay, explain further what you mean by that.
Right. Do you want... Okay, so how about we do this thing? I'm going to bounce this idea to you live on the podcast. Okay? So can you... If I explain this game to the audience right now, all right, actively, do you think following that explanation, you can give your verdict on where it does and where it doesn't evoke the magic of the Dewey Decimal System?
I don't know. I don't know what you mean by magic, but yes, okay.
Okay. Do you not think the Dewey Decimal System is magical?
No, I think it's convoluted.
Are you picking a fight with librarians now?
No.
The noble profession of knowledge keepers and thing
They didn't
keepers.
invent the Dewey Decimal System.
Right, okay.
Mr. Dewey invented it.
Oh.
And it makes a lot of sense, and other methods have been tried, but they don't always work very well because it's much harder to file books. So it's an easy way of filing books, but the problem... See, I knew I'd end up going into this. One of the problems with it is that it was kind of invented before things like computers. A lot of computer technology was around. So there are some categories that have been like shoehorned into sections, and it doesn't quite make a logical sense. Some of it does, but some of it doesn't. So it's not a completely straightforward method of filing, but it works.
In Out of Sorts,
yes.
What you do is you basically get these free cards, and these free cards are your categories that you're going to be sorting these alien books under. So in the introductory scenario, it is recommended that you use these three categories: cats, reptiles, and monsters, which obviously is what all books should be filed under. What more do you need, right? So... So in this game, you will cooperatively, over the course of 20 minutes... I
mean, that's true of the Dewey Decimal System.
You cooperatively sort the library.
Yes.
Do you not... Is there not, like, librarian rivalry?
What?
Like factions?
Who can shelve books quicker?
No, but, like, political kind of infighting, and... Does that not happen?
No.
Why not? They could make a TV show about this. Everyone would watch it.
How would that work?
Well, so for example, one librarian is trying to get a promotion.
That's the thing. Most libraries are run by councils, and you can't get a promotion.
What do you mean you can't get a promotion?
You can't. Someone doesn't like headhunt you or whatever it's called. Where they say,
is there no like librarian tenure or something like that? Like, is there no career advancement?
I mean, not in the council. No.
Okay.
You can apply for a better job. Yeah.
Look, I can rewrite. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so a librarian is trying to get a job at a more prestigious library, but there's someone else gunning for that job, and so they kind of like create these little factions of like library staff, and who likes what and who doesn't like who, and what are their ideological differences, one's for the Dewey Decimal System, one's for the abolishment of the Dewey Decimal System because it's outdated and we need a new system.
I don't think people that work in libraries have time to worry about that sort of thing.
I think people would watch that on TV.
They're more worried about helping people.
Okay. But that's not entertaining television.
That's why it's not a telly show, isn't it, then?
Okay. But anyway, back to the game. So you have three categories. Cats, reptiles, monsters, and it's cooperative, and you play over 20 minutes. It's true, right? All these things. Can we move on from that?
What, are you asking me if that's true in the game, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were going to just come to me for like library thing.
No, because that's how far we got in the previous attempt at an explanation.
That's true, yeah.
Okay. So, we've established that, right? So you have these 3 categories, and then what happens is that you basically get these 5 indexing cards, right? Mm-hmm. And then this is a game where like you play. There's one player that plays as the sorter and the other players play as the finders. So there's one sorter, many finders, right? And all the finders have all the available book cards in their hands, split evenly. And the finder has index cards, which have all the same symbols as the book cards, right? And every round you draw 5 cards from the index cards, and then it might have like a swirly circle or a spiky stick or, some sort of rune-like looking thing or a square with a mouth in it or something like, various strange symbols that don't really mean anything, but feel to us, but feel adjacent to things that feel familiar. Maybe this stick thing that, we've just found, maybe that's a reptile because it looks a bit like a snake, right?
Oh,
yeah, well, or no, yeah, like stick, snake. Maybe the stick is not particularly straight, a bit squiggly.
Squiggly.
Yeah, that's a snake, right? That can go in the snake category, right?
Okay.
But the snake category could also have
the reptile category.
Yeah. Other reptiles.
Yeah.
And so you have. Reptile categories, snakes are the reptiles, right? Uh-huh. And suddenly you created a subcategory because you need to file all of these things somewhere, uh-huh. right? And the reason you're doing that, so this is the bit where it's a bit like Wilmot's Warehouse. You are basically creating a mnemonic device to remember the sequence of cards that you've laid out. Because as you file them under these categories, you create this row of cards. And you need to remember what that row is because it's then going to go into the sorter's hand, who is going to be responsible for keeping that row in check. Mm-hmm. And as you find these book cards that match the index cards, you put them in the sorter puts them into the sequence one by one. So you never see what the sequence looks like. You're just trying to remember where in the sequence it is. Because this is another thing, a real-time game. Like I said, it takes 20 minutes. And you need to play 9 rounds of this, and every round you keep adding 5 cards to this sequence. So the first time you just need to remember 5 cards in sequence.
Yeah.
The second round you need to remember 10 cards in sequence, 15, 20, and so on.
It seems like a really inefficient way of categorizing. Why would you not label them with the Dewey Decimal number as soon as you decided where they were in the sequence?
Because it's not the Dewey Decimal System, it's the alien Dewey Decimal System.
It's a very inefficient way of sorting. I think
it is an efficient way of trying to remember where things are. And that's it. That's kind of the game. So now that's, I've done my job. Your job is to relate it to
I think I already have been, no?
No.
I think anyone that worked in cataloguing would be like, I think we can do this system better. Here's some numbers, put numbers on as you're doing them, and then we can fit things. Because the way the Dewey Decimal System works, there's whole numbers and then there's point something, right? Mm-hmm. So you squeeze in things as to where you think they'll go within that category. Mm-hmm. So for that, it's similar, but it's less efficient because you don't have to remember the Dewey Decimal System.
Well, that's the thing, right? Here you have to remember.
I know.
Because you don't know what anything is or what it means. And you don't have a way to make numbers because you're in an alien library.
I don't know why it hasn't already been done. I don't know why we're in this library and we're doing the work for this librarian who is clearly very upset by us struggling to do this.
Every time you fail, there's this artwork with a card of a librarian, and the librarian is covered up by another card that's a book. And so every time you fail, you lower the book and reveal more and more of the librarian's upset face.
Like she's pulling the book down, like looking at you more and more judgingly. It's
one of the most genius
it's very funny
counters I've ever seen. It's very funny. I genuinely liked it quite a bit. I like this game a lot. I think this is actually really sweet. So this is by designer Connor Wake. And I don't know the availability of this game outside of the United States. I don't think it's available outside of the United States. But otherwise, I think you can find Out of Sorts on the publisher's website, which I don't remember what it is now. But, Google Out of Sorts card game.
The publisher is Always Awake Games.
Wow, that's terrifying.
Well, because the designer is Connor Wake. The graphic designer is Connor Wake.
Right. When does Connor sleep?
Is that a joke on their name, or do you mean because...
No, because it's Always Awake Games, so...
Anyway, when do you... Bladucus? I don't know. It's not like a name that's attached to a profession. It's not like Cooper or Smith or...
No, but wait. So they're allowed to make a pun on their name. And I'm not allowed to expound on that pun.
Which company do you work as?
No pun included.
Good. I really like this game too. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was so hard.
It is.
It was so incredibly hard because you have a timer, and you think, okay, 20 minutes. It was 20 minutes, right?
Yeah,
that's plenty of time. We can do this. No, you can't.
The first time I played this, we've got 5 rounds done, and we felt good about that, right? But I thought,
how do you get 9 rounds?
But I thought, you know what? Second time I play this, I think we can do a little bit better.
Did we do better, Refka?
4 rounds.
But to be fair, you were playing with a different group.
Yeah.
And also, you have never been the person who's on the other side, have
I was
you?
never finding. I was only keeping.
You've only been the keeper.
Sort of.
The sorter. Yeah. I think you would have fun playing the finder.
I'm sure.
I think you would enjoy
that
that
fun
role.
playing the sorter, honestly, even though my job was mostly just draw some cards and make sure everyone goes at a brisk pace. And I think that's maybe the one criticism of this game. There is one role that is sort of a, GM role, but never stopped Mysterium or whatever. So I don't see it as an issue here either.
No, and I think that role, though, has the ability to derail the game. If for some reason they get a card wrong, they misunderstand what is being said by the other players, and they put the card in the wrong place. So the players think it's in one place. And the sorter
you need to make sure you know what each person means, and everyone's in sync. Yeah. And so it's secretly quite a finicky role, and it requires more attention than you would think. But I did really like this. I thought this was very clever and very delightful. One of those, fun, not quite party games, but sort of party game.
Party game.
Yeah. More. It feels more
it's
akin
a group
to
game, maybe, but not a party game.
I think it feels more akin to word games, even though this isn't a word game. But there is that element of like memory, similar to Wilmot's Warehouse, where you're creating a mnemonic device. Yeah. And you are all doing this sort of strange activity that you normally don't get to partake in. So this was fun, and most importantly, it felt different from anything else. I don't think I've ever played anything like Out of Sorts.
No.
And I enjoyed...
And it pleased me because it's set in a library. So,
well, there you go. What more do you need?
We played another game that feels a bit party-ish. We played Magical Athlete.
I guess there is a similar element of like we're playing this for a zany time and fun moments. I've played Magical Athlete twice now. This is from publisher CMYK, who continue to make interesting, expressive games. And this one feels strangely hot on the heels of Hot Streak, because that was like, a quirky racing game
with cool art.
With cool art. And this is, a quirky racing game with cool art, but from the past. It's from the past.
But it didn't have cool art in the past.
No, I did not actually look at the art. I have no idea how
I can't imagine it had art like this with a banana.
No, so this is from Angela Kirkwood, yeah, you said your favorite piece is the banana
because he looks like he has a plan.
Right.
I like him. He's wearing like a fedora.
Right.
Like a journalist.
Yeah.
He looks like he's running towards the
He also looks
good
worried.
Stories.
He looks like he's stressed in life in general.
I identify with him.
Yeah.
Quite a lot, yeah.
You're wearing yellow.
I am wearing, not on purpose.
You're wearing a sort of a B-type jumper. And I don't mean the letter. I mean the insect. Because it's stripy yellow and black.
Yeah, I think people understand what you mean.
Yeah, but those are the two colors available of the banana, right?
That's true.
There is yellow and then there's black. So that...
I mean, bananas are also green.
Yeah,
and brown.
Okay, but those are undesirable states of banana. We're talking here about peak banana. The most performance banana.
So you're calling me peak banana.
I'm calling you performance banana.
But I like all the characters in this. I didn't know what to call them.
Huge
characters,
baby
races.
Yeah. I think everyone's gonna like Huge Baby.
I liked Mini for Huge Baby because it wasn't just like a normal sized mini. It was a huge, chunky piece of wood.
I like the flavor text for Huge Baby because the flavor text just says she's 30.
It's probably why she's so big. I like the flavor text for all of it, and that is why it is also reminiscent of Hot Streak, because in Hot Streak you have different endings for how much you score. It will give you a little blurb of how you spent your winnings, right? And in this, it has a little blurb for each racer. So it will say what they do, but then have something funny, have a quirky, witty statement that goes with each racer.
I mean, so I more to the point, what the game is. This was designed by Takashi Ishida and developed. It says updated by Richard Garfield of Magic the Gathering fame and other games like Robo Rally. This is actually strangely has a lot of parallels with Robo Rally, but it's not onerous like Robo Rally. This is just roll and move. You roll a die, you move your racer on a board that's a circle, basically full of spaces.
Track. It's a track.
It's a track. It's one track. You roll a die, you move on the track. That's it. That's
like a racetrack.
Yeah, that's a mechanism. It's a mechanism. And so obviously something else has to be happening here to make it interesting. And there is. So there are 4 races and you're going to draft 4 racers from a wide array of different racers that all have different abilities. And the abilities themselves might not be that interesting. For example, Huge Baby says, you can't be on my space, right? Or the Suckerfish basically says, if someone on my space starts moving, I can move with them. So, they're all kind of self-evident why they're good, why they're bad. But it is the confluence of all of these abilities that is interesting here, because what's going to happen is for each race, so first you're going to draft your 4 races for the entire game. And then for each race, you will pick one racer secretly, simultaneously, reveal it. Everyone is deploying that one racer, and you can only use that racer that once in the entire game. And so then you realize that you just pitched Suckerfish, which, is in the same race as the Huge Baby. So can never latch onto the Huge Baby. That's already bad, right? That's completely useless. And then the other racer is the Mouth, and if the Mouth ever moves onto you, it eliminates you entirely. So you never really kind of want to be on the same space as the Mouth either, right? What's going on? My Suckerfish is useless. Sacre bleu,
Sacre bleu.
Yeah.
Suckerfish.
Yeah. That's right. That I meant that. That was deliberate.
Uh-huh.
And so, yeah, it's this kind of kooky, zany confluence of things, and you're kind of into that or you're not, right? This is a great game to cap an evening off with.
Which is what we used it for.
Yeah, or to open an evening with. But I feel like that sort of game you kind of, you want to play when maybe people have, if it's that kind of setting, maybe had a few drinks. I'm just gonna say. I'm just gonna say it. They might have a little.
Or even if they haven't, but I think, I understand what you mean, right? That you don't need to have had a drink to play this game. It's not that
you don't have to. We're not encouraging it. No, don't drink.
If you've been playing a game that has been quite taxing on your little bonds, and you think, I really would like to play something else, but I don't want to have to think about anything or make any decisions whatsoever. Okay, let's play this.
Yeah, and it's going to be stupid and funny,
it's going to be stupid and fun, and everything is based on the roll of the dice. Like, there's no, I mean, you've got your ability on your card, so you have to remember what that is, and you have to decide which racer to put into which race. But I mean, you don't even know what anyone else is going to race with, so it's not like a decision there that, okay, this player's playing this, so what can I do to kind of mitigate what you none of that is a decision. You're just choosing a card and hoping for the best, and rolling dice and hoping for the best.
Hopefully funny things happen, right?
Which, in our game, they did.
Yeah. So I played a game where it was a bit of more of a mixed bag. There were rounds where funny things were happening, right? I'm not going to deny that. But there were rounds where it was just a bit not interesting. It was just, we're just mostly rolling and moving.
There are things that I think could make this, that could put people off this. One, that there is no thought into it at all, that it's quite random. And two, there are characters like the mouth that will eliminate other players. So if you're eliminated quickly, you don't do anything else for the rest of that round.
No.
And they're not very long rounds, because it's just one go round the track.
I think it's a very stupid game. You just have to buy into.
Yes, exactly.
The randomness here is a feature, not a bug. You know.
Yeah, you have to be on board with what this is.
I mean, I think that's fine. I wanted it. There were moments where I wanted it to be zanier than it was, because there were moments of it. We're just rolling dice now, you know. But it's not even like kooky. It was just, we're just rolling dice. These abilities don't really interact in interesting ways,
and that is a thing because there are so many different characters. Right? So maybe they won't. But our game was funny. One of the things that happened in our game was I just got stuck on the corner because one of the squares says you have to move back. If you land on that square, it's like snakes and ladders, you know, you have to move back a certain amount. I think it was 4 squares. So, okay, back 4 squares. And then I rolled again and ended up on that same square. So, okay, back again. I just got stuck on the corner and couldn't. And then, there's other characters that can like move you back or move you forward or whatever. And it's just, that was why our game was fun, because there was a character eating things. There was me getting stuck. There was big baby sitting there. No one could be on that square. It was just all these things happening at once. Yeah,
it's the confluence of them that is funny rather than any individual thing. I just think that hot on the heels of Hot Streak, right? This is a weird moment to publish this game.
Yeah.
I think Hot Streak is better.
I still appreciate another game of racing that doesn't have horses.
Yeah, this is very different because we're not betting here on anything, you know.
No, because that's true. It is not a betting game.
Yeah, it's just kind of roll and move. Yeah. And it has its moments, definitely. It's very charming, and I quite liked it. I just prefer Hot Streak more. I think I've never seen Hot Streak flop, right? There was just never this moment of, this game could feel a little hotter, as it were.
Nice.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's because it is tighter in the design, because you only have the 4 characters and your bets are on those 4 characters, or what's it called? The yes-no bet.
Yeah.
Whatever that bet is. Side bet, thank you. So there's a lot of restriction in what you're actually rooting for. Whereas in this game, there are so many different characters that may or may not interact with each other. And you don't know that until you start the round. But it's mercifully short. If you do have a terribly boring roll and move round, it is mercifully short.
It depends. There were a few rounds where I felt like this could have been over now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay.
I want it to be
face.
over.
Oh no, the listeners cannot see your face right now. It is all screwed up like a lemon.
I think, this is just my opinion, I think I like Magical Athlete more because of how expressive its art is than I actually than how much I enjoy the experience. I think if the artwork was not what it is, I don't think I would like this as much, because it's funny, because this is not the first time this game has been around, and it had this sort of mythical status because I saw people on Blue Sky when this was announced, were like, whoa, Magical Athlete is coming back. No one sounds like that. I'm not making fun of anyone. I'm just doing a voice. Anyway, yeah, people were excited about it, right? And I was, okay, I'm looking forward. And I kind of, was briefed with the whole, this is just zany roll and move. Okay, I'm behind that, I want to experience that. And then the result was like, it's okay, I liked it. But I think I like it because of how good the artwork is rather than because I like this particular design.
I agree. I just was having a look at the art for the old game, and it's not as good.
Oh, no.
It's and it seems actually that, sorry, just looking on Board Game Geek, people have made their own versions of it with their own types of character.
Sorry, so you showed it to me from very far away. No, I don't think I want to see it, actually.
Okay, yeah.
Can you just, for the listeners at home, can you just say, was there a necessity to remake the artwork?
I think so.
Was there a cultural necessity to remake the artwork?
Quite possibly.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. So let's leave it at that.
Before we go, let's do some correspondence. We've had this email from Jakob. They say, I have just listened to an episode of Talk Cardboard where you talked about Roth.
Correct me. No, I'm so sorry.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I got the impression that Efka played the game incorrectly where it comes to scoring for elite troops. You're not even listening.
I am listening.
Okay. The multiple health dice units, that's the elite troops.
Yeah, I remember them.
The thing is that the elite units only provide additional points in regions that a player controlling them dominates or controls. It's written incorrectly in the rulebook. CTG admitted to it in the errata on their page, and then they've given a link to
it's
page.
Okay. I'm taking a little bit of umbrage with the phrasing in this email. I have played it correctly. It's the designers who published it incorrectly.
Why didn't you check the errata, Efka?
Yeah, because you think to check the errata for a just published game, right? No, I'm sorry. What? I don't know. I guess this is a public service announcement, but it makes sense that this was, retconned into whatever it is now, because that was an element that felt completely silly in the game. This is like, why does it work like this? So I guess it shouldn't, but it also could have been like, oh yeah, we kind of misjudged this. Let's quickly change it. I don't know what this was, but It did not feel good. I'm not sure I am particularly drawn to trying it with the...
They say they really like it.
Correct rules. I guess we could give it another chance at some point.
With the proper rules.
With the proper rules.
See if it changes it.
Let's try it with the proper rules.
We also have an email which relates to the next episode of our podcast.
Okay.
In fact.
Wow.
I know. It's a hook, so people will listen to the next one, you see. This is from Theo.
It's going to work. Everyone's going to tune in. They're going to be like, give it to me now.
This is from Theo. They say, hey, Elaine, it's just to me, not to you, haha. Thank you for sharing about your fear of primates and how you're working on overcoming that fear. It's awesome to hear somebody sharing about how they've recognised a part of themselves that they'd like to grow and the actions they're taking to aid in that growth. It warms my heart and I admire and am proud of you. Well, thank you very much, Theo. Because
what's the hook for the next episode?
Well, so in the next episode, we will be talking about a game called
I don't know. What is it?
Primates.
What? I could not have predicted that. What an amazing confluence of things.
I know, which we have finally played.
Incredible.
So, that will be in the next episode. So thank you very much for your kind words, Theo, and thank you for your email, Jakob. And with that, it's the end of the episode. That's all the games we have for this time. Why don't you say goodbye, Efka?
Goodbye, Efka.
Goodbye, Efka. And thank you very much for listening, everyone. I forgot to say that.
Mayo.